sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Greg Bakken here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 48, then Saturday, clearing skies with a high of 53. Heat up these cold nights with the hottest musical acts around at Crooner's Supper Club. Crooner's is located just north of I-694 off Highway 65 and Moore Lake Drive. Visit croonersmn.com to view their schedules and food menus.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story, this is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakken.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here on GhostBox Radio, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakken. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for allowing us to help ease you into the weekend. I hope everyone had a great week. I hope everyone has some fun plans for the weekend. I know that I don't necessarily have fun plans, but I have plans all the same. So I'll be looking forward to that as well. Meanwhile, in Eden Prairie, we have Adam joining us. And how are you doing this fine, unseasonably warm November evening?
Yeah, it's crazy how warm it is out here. It was 67 or 68 for the high today. It's only supposed to be mid 50s for the low tonight. It's crazy.
It really is. And you had asked me before the show if I had done chicken wings tonight because it's so warm out. And of course, why would I do that on a warm night? That would be silly. We'll talk again when it's 20 below. But I went to Hawaii Poke Bowl tonight, and had a very salmon-y sort of meal, which is very good. I love it over there. Really, really fresh, really good. And, my body needed fresh, to be very honest. Though I have to say, Adam, we're doing this other program called Minnesota Bites. This week, I was over in Coon Rapids over at Jelly Bean and Julia's barbecue place, which is, oh my gosh, Adam, we had a long, wonderful conversation. And then Corey brought out just some amazing food. My cat Puff is even excited about it. I can hear her in the background. Yes, you're on the air, sweetheart. It was amazing. If you haven't been, you got to go check it out. And my gosh,
I had a Reuben there, and I, and he's like, we got this wonderful Reuben. He's explaining it, and before he didn't get to all the ingredients, I was just like, I'm not a big fan of Reubens because of the sauerkraut. I don't like sauerkraut. He's like, oh, we don't have sauerkraut, and he had pickled cabbage instead on it with a little bit of heat.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, it was phenomenal. It was so good. So yeah, and then of course he had me at ribs, of course, and
Mhm.
I got some ribs, and that was good. That was a good time. It was a good time and a great conversation because Corey talked not only about his restaurant, which he was very insightful on. He just talked about the art of doing barbecue and smoking food and where I mean, that was incredible. That was like that was I look at it as like a master class actually on how to do stuff like that. He was very giving with his information, very giving with how he does stuff, and that was so much fun. I couldn't believe it. That was a highlight of the week for me. That was great.
I honestly can't wait to the new show premieres in January. I cannot wait.
I
That's
can't
gonna be
either. I'm starting to feel like it is becoming something. I don't want to use the word special because that's that's self-congratulatory, and that's really not what I try to be. But I do think it's going to be something that people are going to really enjoy. Yeah, you want to know the second highlight of the week, and they're equal. They're equal, but I've had two big highlights of the week.
Okay, what's number 2?
Last night we did the paranormal investigation in the basement of Divine Lights, and that was cool. That was cool.
Now, this is the third or fourth one you guys have done there?
We started in July.
Okay,
So we've been going a little while, and admittedly, it started off a little slow. And I'm just kind of like, "Rrr." That's why we had stuff with lights and stuff, because it's like, well, maybe that might appease people, because you never know. You can't, as you can't guarantee activity.
Yeah, you can't be like, Ghost, I'm here, do stuff.
Yeah, it's time for you to, it's doing the Muppet Show theme. It's time to start the music, So we were there, and it took probably about, I'd say 20, 25 minutes of us just kind of sitting in one of the first rooms that we were in. And I had the tripwire, and then that started lighting up. And then I brought out the spirit box because we were trying different things, and started to bring forward not spirits from Divine, the building Divine Lights are in, or Anoka, but some of the loved ones of the people who were joining us in this investigation. And that was pretty incredible, where you'd hear their voices and stuff, which I'm used to, but if you're not used to that, it's a little bit different. And then we went to a separate room, and we started doing we had 2 REM pods out, and one started going off, and it was great. And then I had the other one on the other end of the room, and I sat down in the one closest to me, and I'd say, Spirit, would you be able to play a game with me? Would you be able to mimic this on your end with what we have down there for you? And I'd do a sequence with the REM pod, and then it would try to do the same sequence on its end, and it did.
So you were basically playing Simon with Spirit.
Exactly. We were playing. Matter of fact, Danae, who is with us, she's like, I have a Simon game that normally I bring on investigations. But so we did, and then I said to Spirit, I'm like, can you give me one that I will try to replicate? And it did this like funky thing on the REM pod. I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. I'm trying, and it's like, nope, not even close. But it was a lot of fun. And then at the end, through one of the apps that one of our attendees had, it said, help me. So brought out the spirit box again. Anyone need help? Anyone need crossing over? And we got a yes. And so we did a crossover, and you could feel it. I mean, everyone could feel it. Suddenly the room got really cold. I mean, that's what happens when we do crossovers. You physically can feel it. And for folks who don't know what I'm talking about, a crossover is basically spirit crossing over to, over the other side of the veil, where you have family and whatnot meeting and waiting for you. And once you cross, the belief is that you really give up all those like human like things that kind of hold you back. Like, there's a lot of spirits that stick around because they don't want anything to happen to their house, or they don't want anything to happen to their belongings or anything like that. They hold on to those earthly sort of possession things. When you cross over, the belief is that those are, lifted from you, and you're on your next phase of your journey. Doesn't mean you can't come back, but it's a different sort of thing. And so stuff was happening when we're doing the crossover, and I said, "Did you cross over?" And this voice of the spirit box says, "I did," very clearly, where a number of people heard it. And that was like, that works for me. So it was a very fun and actually very helpful night for some spirits. So it was really really incredible. I mean, that's what I love. That's the sort of thing I absolutely love.
Yeah, you showed me a picture earlier today, and I saw that you had the laser grid up again,
Yes.
and it looks like you're playing more with the laser grids. Thank you, thank you. I'm a big fan of the laser grid. Um, have you guys gotten anything with the laser grid now that you've been popping it out a little bit more?
Not yet. Not yet. Not that we had seen. But it's that fine balance too of, we have all these things we want people to take part in, and be able to have their equipment being used and whatnot. But the thing is that you don't want to have so much equipment out, because the more equipment that you have out, we believe the more confused that spirit becomes over like what to talk to, how to talk to us, that sort of thing. So we have to be very careful in those situations. So so we have the grid out there. We have like we have the tripwire out there, but we also want to make sure that we don't have like 17 K2s and REM pods and stuff like that. So we're like, they're like, come talk to us, and they're like, where, what one thing do you want us to talk to you about? So yeah.
That's one thing I've always wondered, because you see on a lot of investigations, not really with your investigations, with some of the other ones you see on TV, YouTube, and stuff. They have got so many items laid out.
Yeah.
And it's like being a person trying to talk to a bunch of other people individually in the room. When you have that many devices, it's like, well, which one do you want me to go to?
And that's exactly it. And the thing is, I mean, trust me, we've done many a years of having every device known to man out on the out on the investigation and stuff. And finally, it just became like, yeah, I think this is a little too much. And when we're doing events, the thing about that is like, people are coming, and they're often coming with their own equipment, and that equipment is not cheap. So yeah, of course they're going to want to use their own equipment. I totally understand that. Last night we didn't have anyone bring any equipment, so that made things easier. But if we have people at the next one, which is December 11th, if we have people at the next one show up with equipment, all of that means is I don't use my equipment. I will happily, just unless there's something that they want to see in use. But if they're bringing like their cat balls or their K2s or their spirit box or whatever else, I will happily just kind of step back and let them be able to play, because this is for them. This isn't, this is for them, for spirit. And, we really want to give people the opportunity who don't have that time to, or the availability or whatever to do regular investigations. This is an opportunity for them to really enjoy. And when you and I were at Twin Cities Con already a week ago, you and I both heard people are like, oh, do you ever take people with you? Do you ever do this with, investigation, that? And that's what this is for those people who want to be able to experience it, are not part of a team, but in a very safe environment, and in, one of the most haunted places in Minnesota, Anoka, Minnesota. And I can't guarantee, I can't not believe that at some point we're going to grow this out to other locations as well. So yeah, it's It's incredible. It's a lot of fun.
I tell you what, even just not on Main Street, but just go down Ferry Street there in Anoka as well, and it's almost like you can just throw a rock and find a building that's got paranormal activity in it in Anoka.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And that's the thing. And but right now we're doing, in the Divine Lights building, and it just over Halloween when you and I were doing the broadcast, they were at Divine Lights having a witches ball. And so that just, that's just drumming up in, energy as well. And so a lot of the stuff we actually got through different devices was talking about witches and dancing and that sort of thing, which was kind of cool. Actually, that was really neat to see. So
yeah, I'm sure that did bring a different energy to that building than what it's used for, during the day, because you're not going to have music, you're not going to have people dancing around.
No, and it's tough when places have those type of events on Halloween because we're busy. It's our time to shine. Just like it's theirs. I hope they do another one though that's not on Halloween, maybe something separate, because I would love to check it out, because we were in the space that this witch's ball happened in, and I could just see why this would have been actually magical. It actually would have been pretty incredible. And I was kind of like, oh, I would have liked to have checked that out, but we just really couldn't. It's just how it worked. We just could not do it. So
yeah, but I'm guessing you would be the one over there in the corner with your spirit box and a pair of headphones on, listening to all the responses that would come through instead of actually, dancing and having a good time.
It's tough because if I had lost like 20 pounds, I'd be out there dancing, because I do like to dance a little bit, and especially if you're wearing a costume, no one would see, who you are. So, it's like
that is fair. That way they'd be like, who's the dude who can't dance? They would never know.
They'd say Adam. I'm guessing.
Well, no, believe me, I have zero rhythm. None.
I mean, back in the day, I was all right, but I mean, it's been a hot minute since I've graced the dance floor. I was just thinking about it today. There's over off of by 252 in Brooklyn Park, Minneapolis. There's I don't think it's a Holiday anymore, but back in the 90s, it was a Holiday Inn, and there was a place called Northern Lights, which was a bar in the hotel that really was pretty incredible on a Friday, Saturday night. And my friends and I would go there, and yeah, we'd be out. I mean, it was in our 20s. We'd be out on the dance floor and stuff. But the thing that made me think about it today was we befriended a waitress there, Amy, and they used to have 2-for-1 drink specials there. And at that time, for whatever reason, my friend Roger and I, our drink was a screwdriver.
Mm-hmm.
And so we thought we would save her time, okay? Because obviously all we want to do is make people's lives easier.
Yeah, that's usually what most bar patrons are, yeah.
Right. So we're not looking for, it's because it was buy one, get one free. And it was like, okay, we're not going to order one and get one free. We put in an order for 8 of them so that we could get, and we didn't think twice about it. We weren't like, oh my gosh, we're going to get 16 of these things back or anything, or the fact that the place should have been reasonable and was like, no. So Amy comes over, and she was, probably about 5 foot tall, whatever. And this massive tray with literally 16 screwdrivers. and she's like, yeah, my boss saw me do this, and he asked me to ask you guys not to do it this way again. And only when she said that, I was like, yeah, that does make sense, doesn't it? I mean, obviously we were stupid because you're drinking that much. I mean, that does, that's obviously not a smart thing to do. But when you are like 23, 24 years old, sometimes you're not super smart. And obviously I wouldn't do that now. And yeah. But that was just like, it was just like, here we go, 16 screwdrivers between you and I, Roger. Let's get at it. My God.
Chug-a-lug.
Chug-a-lug-lug. So yeah, that's incredible. We have a question of the week this week that we want to get to here. And the question is this, and you can put it in the comments. You can also call in. Is there anything in the paranormal field we're not talking enough about? I'm curious about that. We got answers today on our social media platforms, but I want to know what you all think. If you haven't answered, put into the comments. You can give us a call, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. Once again, is there anything in the paranormal field we are not talking enough about? Why don't we go ahead and take our first break? When we come back, we're going to continue easing into the weekend as it is Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio. Greg Bakken here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakken here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
And it is Casual Friday here in GhostBox Radio. Thank you very much for joining us as we head into the weekend. I'm so excited because, as I was telling Adam before the show, I'm going to attempt to do a chicken on the grill, like a whole chicken. I'm not going to spatchcock it or anything. It's just going to be just a whole chicken. And, I am going to take advantage of the weather a little bit, Adam, by doing this chicken tomorrow. It is a sacrifice for good weather for the remaining winter months. That's my story, at least for that. So,
I'll buy that story because I've contemplated, I've got a duck in the freezer and I wouldn't mind doing that on Sunday.
Well, as I said on the show, Faulty Towers, which I know that you had asked about over at Twin Cities Con, is a direct quote from Faulty Towers. If you don't like duck, I guess you're out of luck. So that's high quality there.
I gotta beat that show out. Oh,
you really do. My God, I thought you were actually trolling me a little bit when you're like, "Have you ever heard of Faulty Towers?" And the thing is that Faulty Towers is like the most famous British comedy series probably of all time.
And I don't really know anything about British television.
No.
Flying Circus.
And there are so many things that I know zero about that. If I brought it up, like, do you know that, they sell hamburgers at McDonald's, that sort of thing. Like, what? Where have you been? So I totally get it. Now we're missing psychic medium Refined Divine. She is not able to join us this month, and I'm excuse me, I'm only bringing it up because, first of all, they're heading off on the cruise on Monday, which is super exciting. I'm super excited for them. But without them here, I do want to make sure that everyone is aware that you need to go over to refineddivinepsychic.com. And once you go there, you can see all the classes, schedule a reading. Now, I'm not sure exactly what their schedule is being on the cruise, meaning I don't know if she's going to take on any readings or anything, but you don't have to schedule it for next week. You can schedule it from when she's back. There's always classes. They're always appearing in different fairs. They have their own fairs going on. So I want to make sure that that you don't forget, you need readings. You want to kind of get your sort of holistic side in order. You got to go check out refineddivinepsychic.com. Also go to Refined Divine Psychic Medium on Facebook. That is a great resource to see where she is doing her events and stuff. You got to go out there. Everyone loves what she's doing. So if you haven't checked it out, and I'm missing the one question readings, I love doing those with her. And I'm looking forward to December when she'll be back and doing those with us. So I'm missing her, but I'm also excited for all the stuff that her and Dave are doing. And the reasons why they can't be with us this month is because they got a lot going on. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, those Wednesdays are probably my favorite nights of the week, because not only her readings are spot on, but for me personally, I'm the one who answers the phone, so it's great to actually hear the people who hear us all the time, to actually hear their voices for once.
Yeah.
To me, that's the best part about that.
No.
It's like, because they're like, oh, hi Adam. I'm like, hi you, and then they'll tell me who they are. It's like, oh, I see you in the comments all the time, or hey, it's nice to actually know what your voice sounds like.
Absolutely. And I think, just so I can help you out a little bit, I think I'm just going to start swearing every once in a while, so that keep you in shape for the button and whatnot. Make sure that you are so when she comes back, you're up to speed, so to speak.
But I'm ready to go. Right on.
You're ready to go. You're ready to go.
Get my
Also,
finger going.
yep, absolutely. And also, we did play an ad for the Anderson House down in Wabasha as well. I just want to say, you got to check out their website, check out the events and stuff going on over there. It's a beautiful hotel. And there's going to be a para fair out there in January that I will be taking part in. We'll be talking about that more in a little while as well. So, just even though we're done with Halloween and whatnot, the events and stuff, they just keep coming. It doesn't stop. It keeps going. So
no, Paranormal never ends. It doesn't end on October 31st and kick back in on September 1st. No, it's Paranormal all the time.
If you know what you're doing in life, it sure is. Yeah, absolutely. You never let it go. That's for sure. This week, question of the week is as follow: is there anything in the paranormal field we are not talking enough about? Adam, what do you think?
My wife actually answered for me.
I saw that.
This one. The only thing I would change is more cryptids from around the world, more of the international ones, because to me, a lot of the folklore that comes with it, or a lot of the stories that come with these cryptid sightings, make the story for me to begin with. But there's some of my favorites. There's Indonesia, the orang pendek. There's giant ground sloths that people think are still alive. There's the moa in Australia, which is, some people think that there's still a dinosaur living out in the deserts of Australia. That's the kind of stuff I go down rabbit holes on.
And I do want to clarify too, when I'm asking this question, I'm not necessarily asking for the show, but as in general as well, of like, is there stuff that we are kind of not talking about that, going across? And your answer definitely applies to that, but I also want to make sure people know too, we're not hinting for new subjects to talk about, though we will take very close attention to it. It's just also like, in general, there's stuff that we're not really covering that we should cover. And I do want to invite folks, if you have an opinion, an answer, or anything else, please put it into the comments. You can also give us a call, 952-946-6205. That's 952-946-6205. Let's see here. Becky, who just so happens to be the owner of the Anderson House, or she's a manager, excuse me, she's a manager of the Anderson House. Once again, the question is there anything in the paranormal field we're not talking enough about? She says, I think that when people say the word paranormal, instantly they think ghostly or spirits. But the reality is that it can be all things and anything that may be inexplainable, such as things that we cannot see, have not seen, things that have not been captured on video or in pictures, but things we hear, smell, or even feel without seeing. Bigfoot, aliens, other dimensions, etc. I couldn't agree more. That's
Yep.
exactly it.
Absolutely agree. 100%.
And I feel like that I fall into this when I talk like we paranormal and aliens and crypto. It's just it is all one thing, but for some reason we tend to just keep, and I include myself in this, keep paranormal all about ghosts and spirits and stuff. But yeah, it's all the same. It's all the same.
And I think that's just how our culture has brought it up, because we went through that big boom of paranormal shows, and each one of those shows were only about ghosts.
Sure.
So
sure.
I think that just kind of got ingrained as paranormal only means spirit in the afterlife, ghosts, when you're talking to most people about these topics.
Very, very true. Very true. Once again, the question here is there anything in the paranormal field we're not talking enough about as a field? Lauren says orbs, the most controversial. It's tough. It's so tough because there are things that I've seen that I consider to be orbs. And I feel very strongly about those. But I don't know. I mean, but I also understand that that is something that it's a hot topic. You see a bunch of like things moving in order, in like a kind of an order, like almost like in line with each other, and it's like those aren't orbs, that looks like dust, but people will be like, no, those are orbs. It's kind of a mess. I have to admit, that's kind of a mess. I don't know. I certainly do not I do not discount orbs. A lot of people just do. I do not. I feel like I've seen some really very very interesting things that I would consider to actually really be orbs.
Oh, definitely. There are some people who, it could be a giant beach ball size orb on film, and they'd be like, it's dust, because they just rule out anything that is circular and on the screen. Yet, if you think about it, round is probably the easiest form for energy to take.
Right.
So, but yeah, there are some you can tell it's dusties, it's a bug, something like that. But there are others that you see come across the screen that, leave a trail or change weird directions. Those those to me are the ones that are like, there is more to that one.
Very much so. I want to just check something here real fast here, because I've heard of this, but I've never actually have said it before, because Joshua just put it into the comments here. He says, talking about theranthropy, which is the changing of man into, or sorry, I keep saying man tonight for some reason. Like it's a general human being. I keep saying man. I don't know why tonight. Turning from human into animal. Okay. You're absolutely, yeah. I so much so I had to look up how to say it.
Yeah, because werewolves, lopazones, skinwalkers.
And I told you the story when I was out in at the Octagon Hall, and we were outside and using the FLIR camera, and it was myself, Shar, and Danae, who was with us last night, and we're looking through Danae's FLIR, and you see the heat signature of a dog, like a dog walking. There's a lot of them around in the area. All of a sudden, this dog gets up on its hind legs and it literally becomes a man. Literally becomes a man, and we're watching this happen. And that was
Yeah, no, I'd be back indoors.
We were just like, what on earth? And all the dogs were on another side of the fence. So, I mean, not that these fences necessarily could stop that. I mean, if you could turn into a human being, a fence is probably not going to stop you. But yeah, it's certainly something. Joshua also says, beach ball size ball, haha, and they still call it dust. Well, I mean, you can go both ways on that too, I think. I mean, it's just the problem is, I think it's not so much when we're talking about orbs, and this is just my take on it. I don't think it's necessarily the size or whatever. I think because of like the YouTube videos, maybe even the shows themselves, especially shows that aren't getting a lot of like evidence and stuff, they will go to stuff that is clearly not spiritual. It clearly is dust or some sort of optical illusion that they could have looked a little bit further in to be able to figure out what it is, and they're calling it orbs. I think that's where it really started from, I think.
Oh yeah, I definitely, especially when you have the producers of the network being like, yeah, this has got to be something.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's just crazy. I remember I was emceeing one of the Paracon, one of the VIP dinners at Paracon up by Detroit Lakes over at the Shooting Star Casino and Monoman, Minnesota. And I did a few jokes, and I really cracked up Grant Wilson, because I just said, just as a benefit for everyone attending the convention this weekend, we had really made sure to vacuum all of your hotel rooms as well as possible. So anything you see on the camera now will not be dust, but will in fact be orbs. So,
and honestly, those are the guys I was kind of taking a little dig at when, it's like anything they see, it's dust. And, as much as I dug that show out of all of them, that one
right.
annoyed me.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joshua's like, agree, but no doubt orbs exist. I don't know if you're thinking I'm disagreeing with you, Joshua. I'm 100% agreeing with you that they do exist, but I think that's one of those things that we have to have that balance, because sometimes it looks so obviously like dust. And I certainly have fallen into that for my own stuff. I mean, especially when you're shooting your own stuff or capturing it yourself. Whether we always tell people, don't put your ego with it, take the ego out of it. But it's hard to do, because you're really hoping to find something really cool, really hoping to have something, and not so that makes you famous or anything, so that you could feel like that you're actually having that connection with spirit. So I totally understand why, why people do put orbs out there, and that they might be dust, because you really hope that it's something, that it's that you're having that connection with spirit.
That's why it always bugs me when any of the shows are on there and they're like, oh, we have, orbs, but they're just looking through the viewfinder of the camera when
Right.
they're calling it out. It's like,
Yep.
Don't make that call out until you're reviewing it on a big screen and can actually see it.
I mean, yeah, I really wish that Ghost Adventures, those network shows, would do a better job.
Oh,
why don't we go ahead and take our second break? When we come back, we got more answers to our question of the week. Is there anything in the paranormal field we're not talking enough about? And there's some really good ones that we haven't gotten to yet. We've had some really good ones already. Also, if you want to answer, put it in our comments section, or you can give us a call, 952-946-6205, 946-6205. There's plenty of GhostBox radio left as we're going into the weekend. Everyone stay tuned. We're going to be right back. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakken here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's after hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information.
Are you one of thousands of individuals who know you have psychic abilities but don't know how to tap into your higher self? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who offers classes that can help you reach your goals. Refined Divine holds classes Monday and Thursday at her 2 locations and via Zoom. Classes consist of manifestation, learning psychic abilities, shadow work, and healing trauma. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
This is Psychic Medium Deb. You can go to refinedivinepsychic.com.
Greg Bakken here. It's nice to get out of the Twin Cities and take some travel excursion to some great locations. Minnesota has so much to offer, which is why I love traveling down to Wabasha and staying at the historic Anderson House Hotel. Opened in 1856, this beautiful hotel offers comfortable accommodations, has a delicious restaurant, and even a speakeasy in the basement to unwind with a drink. Located next to the Mississippi River and on Main Street, there is a lot of sightseeing and shopping to do too. To get more information, go to theandersonhousehotel.com.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
Casual Friday. Casual Friday. Casual Friday on GhostBox Radio.
Sorry, I don't know why this suddenly hit me as very funny. Join me Monday on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakken, as we are going to have on Monday a guest talking about her book about haunted Disney. You know, come on, Adam.
Oh man,
this is going to be good. This is like 4 years in the making. That we
it honestly is. But if she brings up pencils, just dump it.
Nope. We've already been talking. Well, I mean, I talked with our good friend Michael before his ill-fated journey onto GhostBox Radio, but she seems like, I don't know, intelligent. So I think we're going to be all right with her, and we're going to be talking about the haunted Disney parks. Her book was unavailable. She's hoping that it's going to be available when she's on the show on Monday, but I did peep out a copy on eBay because I was just like, no, I want to read this, and it's a very easy and very wonderful read. So we're gonna have that on Monday. I just realized I have a hole in my Tuesday schedule, so we're gonna fill that somehow, some way. It might be just me talking about stuff, but Wednesday, you've been hearing the commercials for the Minneapolis trolley tours. Wednesday, we're gonna, Adam's still gonna work the board, but we're gonna class him as a guest, as well as Char Savoy, that you might have heard on such other radio programs as this one, as we talk about the Halloween investigation at the Pillsbury Club. Because even yesterday, when we're talking nearly 2 weeks after the broadcast, I go and I see Char right before we do our event, and she's like, I am still energized from that investigation. And that is saying a lot. And I really want to kind of get into, we were seeing a lot of stuff on screen that she was dealing with. Adam had some stuff come on at the station. Let's kind of walk through that and talk about it, and really just talk about this great investigation at this great location. And, I'm going to do the plug as well, that if you need something to do this weekend, you got to go check out the multiple tours that are going on that the Minneapolis Trolley Tours are putting out there. It goes beyond the Candlelight Tour, Candlelight Ghost Tour. So please go to MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com and have a great weekend. It's going to be a great weather weekend for it as well. So that was that was really cool that we're going to have that conversation on Wednesday. So look out for that. Now, Carol, who we haven't seen in a while, it's good to see you back. I mean, I'm hoping you've been listening, but we haven't seen you do a comment in a while. She says about skinwalkers, I just watched a show from 2020 about searching for skinwalkers. And of course, they tried Utah, Skinwalker Ranch, but then they were sent to Wisconsin and it said to have them there. I was so surprised. Now I'd love to see more about this. Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's a great idea. I think they're all over the place, to be perfectly honest. That's my thought, at least.
And I know Des Moines Con this year, we were trying to work with a family that had witnessed them, and then they kind of went radio silent when we're like, we would love to have you on and talk about it, and then nothing from them.
That's right.
But I know when we were talking to the dad and the daughter, they did have reservations about the mother who had witnessed them the most, even talking about them, because in her traditions, and I'm not going to mention the tribe because I don't remember right off the top of my head which tribe they were, but even if you talk about them, they would come back.
Absolutely. That's why that's why, even us talking about stuff like Wendigo and stuff like that, I always get a little, it's our job to do so, but it's, it's that respect also for that, what could be what could be the repercussions for even the search for knowledge, I guess, to be honest.
That's why I do hope that the universe gives people like us a pass from time to time, because that is our job to talk about it and bring awareness to folks about that kind of stuff.
Totally. And Carol says that's what they say. And I still keep loving your shows. So that's really the main reason why I reread your comment, Carol. So I'm kidding. Yeah, I'm not actually. Let's see here. Where's the comment I'm really looking for? Let me take a look here. It's weird. One of the comments seemed to be gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know. Jim, did your comment disappear, or did you put that somewhere else and I totally missed it? Because I didn't. Most people responded to my direct Facebook page for this, and Jim had a good one, and I will just read it. I'll just paraphrase it, I guess, because I think it's a good one. I'm going to take one last look at another group here, is because I find it interesting that it's not there. No, it's not there. Jim, did you take it down? The comment that Jim had, basically, he had a very thought out explanation for it, but basically he really wishes that scientists and stuff would take the paranormal more seriously, where get science involved more, instead of just looking at paranormal as only a pseudoscience and won't touch it, or anyone who does try to touch it gets ridiculed, and give it more of a presence, and do it with an open mind, basically, as well. And
I'm 100% agreement with that.
Yeah. So no, I think that's probably one of the biggest things, actually, to I was on a program with Morgan Knudsen and Jason Hewlett and Chad Lewis last January on Morgan's show, and that was the roundtable discussion, was about how far has paranormal television come. And and I don't want to be someone who's just constantly ripping on it, because it's not true. It's been a gateway for many of us, and it still continues to be a gateway for many of us. So nothing's perfect. It's entertainment. We get it. But we also wonder, do those television series make it harder and harder for scientists and actually have studies look into it more, because the TV shows may or may not have a reputation that would be that could almost, I don't want to say dangerous, like dangerous danger, but more like something that could possibly affect their credibility or something like that. I don't know, but it just I do wonder about the power of those paranormal television shows in that regard. So
Yeah, because the only one that I ever remember watching as that had any sort of science base behind it was, if you remember, Most Haunted from the UK, they would have a parapsychologist with them,
Yep.
and that was really the closest thing anyone ever got to real science or a real scientist, if you will, working with any of these groups. And I think that would be a good angle to take.
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see here because I was looking for Jim's answer that he deleted, then I lost where I was. So we'll blame him for that. Once again, the question is there anything in the paranormal field we're not talking enough about? Let's see here. Carrie says beings and entities in higher dimensions, the ultra terrestrials, like I have captured. He's using some software that's it's using a Connect. That he showed it to me at Char's last event. It's pretty incredible stuff. At some point, we're hoping to get him on here. It's very interesting stuff. I feel like that we talk about that quite a bit on our show, which is good. But I think overall, I think they don't see aliens as completely broken up the way that we do, that there's hierarchies, there are different species of them, there are different reasons why certain ones exist, etc. So I think that's a good one. Georgia says people's obsession with haunted dolls, they're running rampant through every investigation. And I think it's worth saying that not every doll is haunted. Let's do a PSA about that right now. You may own a doll, but just know it may not be haunted. Just know that right now, because everyone seems to bring a doll somewhere and they're just like, oh, this is a haunted doll. How do you know that? Has it done anything? No, but they're told us that. It's like, no, stop that. I agree. Georgia, I agree with you. Stop that right now. Let's see here. Christine says how to communicate with our pets who have passed on. My advice to you is start a weekly spirit box session for Facebook, and then make sure that your pet is with you and you put them on camera every week. They'll pick it up, apparently. They'll pick it up real good.
Linus figured that out real quick.
he was a pro. I don't know of anyone who's mastered the afterlife better than this cat. So yeah, we won't get into all that again. Let's see here. Yeah, and also Christine, if you're listening, follow psychic medium Rob Guttrow. He's on Facebook. He's an author, but he's a psychic medium, and he specializes in pet communication. So if he's on different programs, you'll want to kind of listen to what he has to say. It's very interesting. Melanie says the bending of time. Ooh, that's a good one. I like that one a lot.
Me too. I like that one.
And we were kind of talking about that with Pat on Wednesday. I thought that was really really good, and I was enjoying having that conversation, talking about timelines and stuff as well. Yeah, I mean those are really good suggestions. I think those are really good, and absolutely. Now, I know that this is your favorite part of the show, Adam. Do we want to have an update on Jason Haas and buying the Conjuring house?
We need some like breaking news music for that. But yes, what is the latest update?
So the latest update is that there isn't an update, but he says silence is good, and that things are happening behind the scenes. This is not a fundraiser, Adam. This is a movement. Okay. So.
All right. Where are we moving to?
To the Conjuring house.
Man, I don't know about. I mean, I barely survived Minnesota winters. I don't know about Rhode Island winters.
What would they do if they just show up? If they win the house, if they get the house, and you donate it, and you're just like, what room is mine?
Dude, I would straight up show up with a suitcase and be like, all right, do I get first pick?
Right, exactly. I mean, I donated $5.
Yeah.
And
I'm the first one here.
I'm the first one here. And once again, folks, listen, your money, do what you want. Okay. I still find the whole thing less than nothing. I'm not gonna say less than scrupulous, because I don't disbelieve that it's all in the up and up. I just don't understand why people want to donate to that house per se, but that's your money. Do what you want. I'm just giving my opinion, just as you are allowed yours as well. But I still say, if you have any money left over from the from donating to this, please consider donating some money to a local paranormal location. And then also, for example, the Anderson House in Wabasha, that's haunted. Go and get a room there and have a great weekend in Wabasha, and maybe see if you can talk to a few ghosts or something, or the Grant House or whatever else. There are options as well. And I do admit, I feel like I'm kind of beating a dead horse here to keep bringing up Jason, but it just, I thought I'd look today and see where we're at, and we're not very far different than we were last week, Adam. So that's.
Yeah, I had my reservations about them starting, and also when they started it. I mean, they had essentially 3 to 4 weeks to get the money, and that's just not enough time.
Well, they're at 325,000, I think, or something there. I know they're over 300 and some, and I don't know if that includes the extra stuff that they said anonymous donors were going to put in or not. But I don't really know. I don't, and it's, if they get it, good. Just hope that it's, everything's fair for everybody. Everyone's happy with the situation. But when you have thousands of people donating, no one's ever really all that happy, at the end of it. So hopefully it gets figured out or whatever.
I would say, though, if you donate it, you better get a free stay there.
Well, that alone will take up like the first 7 years of the operation of the house, because there are thousands of people who've donated. So,
yeah.
Guess we're already at the end of the show. It's amazing how quickly it all flies. Everything I prepped is out the window, and that's okay. Folks, we're going to be back Monday talking about Haunted Disney. We'll be talking about Pillsbury Club on Wednesday. Everyone, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Join me, Tom Hartman, where smart people get their news. The Tom Hartman Program on